What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the IFTV podcast. On this episode, we talk about the rumors of Conte joining Milan at the end of the season. We asked our very own Antonio, who usually is not a fan of Conte, if he wanted the move to happen. I don't know if it was the wine talking or not, but I think he actually says that he would like this move. Anyway, we also say, could Leao be sold to PSG to help finance some of the moves for Conte to Milan in the summer? We also, of course, talk about the Derby d'Italia. We had all the boys back for the first time in 2024, so we go deep on that topic. We also talk about the resurgence of Lorenzo Pellegrini, and was it Mourinho's tactics that were holding him back? And is it now with De Rossi, the whole De Rossi ball, that they're able to play well, and it's helped Pellegrini come back to his best form? And also, I ask one question, and I'm going to ask it to you as well. Is the most underrated player in the world playing in Serie A? I had one idea. I asked the boys, as you'll see on this podcast, but I want you to comment right now down below. Is it true? And if so, who do you think it is? As always, guys, I hope you enjoy this podcast. Before you get going, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. If you're listening on audio platforms, please rate us 5 stars. It helps more than I can describe. Please, a little goes a long way if you take any value from these podcasts and you enjoy them a little bit. Anyway, with all that being said, let's get you to the show.
Well, cheers, guys, everybody.
Are we celebrating something?
Give me wine.
Are we celebrating something?
What are we celebrating?
Inter winning the Scudetto, baby.
No, they did.
Look at Peter does this.
I celebrated a long time ago.
You cheers to it?
You celebrate
Yeah,
too?
yeah,
Cheers to Inter win the Scudetto.
Too late, buddy.
Hey, congratulations,
You guys are gonna choke.
Congratulations. Congratulations, you deserve it.
Don't go too fast.
What do you mean too fast?
Peter already made the cards.
It's only 4
Look.
points. Scudetto winners.
They gave it, we bought him the card with the
Yeah,
congratulations.
don't copy my jokes, Anton. Okay?
That's an invite to the party, to the celebration. Welcome back, everybody.
This cheese is good, man.
To the podcast. Cheese is good,
We
right?
should do a podcast of cheese.
Honestly, how do we not start every single podcast with some
This
cheese?
is the best.
With some
Wine and cheese.
Parmigiano Reggiano.
Wine and cheese.
How many
courtesy of
how many
Gaetano.
months age is that? 24?
24.
24 months.
From where?
Parma.
From Parma.
He was like, I found it in the back of in my back cupboard.
You did say it was in your office for a little while.
26 months. Even things are better than before.
Whatever it was, it's good.
No, they brought it to me from Italy, and I left it in the office.
Nice.
And then
From time to time, I need to come and visit you to
Tonight,
find out you don't forget something else.
tonight I saw it. I said, "What is this thing doing here?" So I decided, what a
This is
nice
good.
place.
Excellent
Got the
idea.
wine.
Good idea.
Anton would have ate it in the car before he came in.
And now we talk some Serie A.
It's good. If you're lactose
That's right,
intolerant,
Mike. I
you can
like
eat this
that.
cheese.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
If you're what?
The enzymes in this
Lactose
cheese.
intolerant.
Interesting.
Yeah. Pete, we have not had this entire crew all together. We either had just you, and Mike was gone, and my dad was gone.
For like 18 months, right?
I think it's the first time this year.
Longer than the
Stagionato,
cheese.
18
Longer than the
months.
cheese.
It's nice to have everybody back.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
That's right.
It's nice to be back.
Meow.
And what a day to come back
Oh,
altogether.
yeah, we're starting. That's too bad.
I know this year Milan and Juventus fans, it's like a brotherhood all of a sudden. But
You guys want more?
I love
This is what it
Juventus. I love
I
Juventus.
thought you never asked.
You love Juventus?
I love the Juventus.
I love,
the past.
love.
On the past.
Not present tense, right?
Yeah.
don't confuse your followers.
Anto's eyeing that cheese. The last piece of cheese.
Go take it, Anto.
What?
Go for it.
Go for it, bud.
No.
You don't have much to celebrate these days anyway. Might as well eat your
Have some good
sorrows
cheese
away.
at least,
I
right?
need to lose weight.
You look beautiful, Anto.
I still have some Christmas parties and weddings, New Year's Eves, and I still haven't got back to my top shape.
Playing
So why
much
don't we talk
pickleball.
about soccer? Oh,
Let's go.
pickleball. Pickleball is they play pickleball.
I heard you guys lost.
What else is new?
I just heard. I don't know.
You guys winning
What
who?
else
Mark
is
and
there?
Mike?
I don't know.
I never lose.
No, you.
Yeah, okay.
I don't lose at pickleball.
Guys, I'm going to ask you a question. Start out with this topic. Who is the most improved player from last season to this season?
Not Kvara skin.
Jovic.
No,
That's true.
Yeah.
not who I'm thinking. I had a guy in mind.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say because
Don't say
we
it.
posted
From
about it.
Calhanoglu.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
No, it was good already last
He was
year.
good.
But that's not who I have in mind. I don't think the most improved.
Tell me the team, in which team he plays.
Let him get one more guess.
I would say
Who are you
Jovic.
thinking?
Jovic sucked last year. He's doing very well. He's sitting on the bench. He's coming big for us.
That you have anybody in mind? Who's the first player that you think has improved the most?
Oh, CDK.
CDK. Is Charles Catalate the most improved player this season?
Unbelievable.
He has
McKinney?
been on a tear.
How about
boy.
Pellegrini too? Might be add.
Not as much as CDK.
He only has 5 goals. So CDK's numbers, this is ridiculous. And now I'm going to say something crazy and then I'll justify it. CDK is the most informed player in Europe after Kylian Mbappe. And let me justify that. Since December, the only player with more goal involvements is Mbappe. CDK has 7 goals, 5 assists since December, from December to now.
Wow. More than Lautaro.
Yes. Giroud, more than Vlahovic, more than anyone else.
So it's safe to say that Atalanta are gonna pull that
So what's the value now?
clause.
Well, they
They're
have
gonna
the
trigger-
contract already written. It's 22 million that they could activate, which surely at this point they will.
Yeah, for sure.
But my question really is, what does this come down to? Is it, we know that Gasperini is amazing at improving players, especially attacking players. He puts them in a better position to succeed. Or is it more, Milan didn't give him time, / there's too much pressure at San Siro? What do you think?
There's definitely too much pressure at San Siro, and if you don't perform, the next game you're out. There's so many players because you're on a top team. At Atlanta,
Don't mind me.
you have more time to. If you make a mistake, if you don't a couple of games you don't do that well, there's still you have the time to develop. But the thing that it's interesting about this player is what's his position.
What is position?
Right
I'll tell
behind
you
the
what the
striker.
position
Right
is.
behind the striker.
But he's not really. He's a little bit closer now.
Like a second striker.
Yeah, now they,
It's
you
a
know,
falso
the
9,
way-
mezza punta,
Yeah,
and
the way
and
they
a
playing him,
centrocampista.
they're playing him as
top, yeah.
up on top, which I saw him. He's going to the left. He comes back. He has a ball, but at that point, you're only playing with one forward. Is
Miranchuk.
Mirachuk.
Because
And Pas-
Lukman has not been there.
Right.
Miranchuk has stepped up big time. Lukman's been doing amazing at AFCON with Nigeria.
Yeah.
So they've had to play
Yeah.
them too.
Right. So they were playing both up front, but then he would come back. He went to the.
Yeah,
I think he had the cross. Did he have the assist?
Yes.
I
Yeah,
think?
Well, he
yeah.
had the pass that led
Yeah,
to the
pass.
assist.
Okay. A
key
It went to
pass. Yeah. It was a
Scalvini
key
and then
pass.
Scalvini
Right.
passed it on.
So,
Guys,
for the
let
goal.
me just
I
say,
think
Yeah.
I would the one that I would give a lot of is to Gasperini. Because he gave him. It's difficult to know where to put him. Well, he put him in the right place.
Okay, so then you validated my point that the entire last
take it easy.
season, let me just remind you guys.
I don't
of
think
something.
you said anything about the
Maldini got sacked for making this
Be
bad
careful with
deal.
the sacked.
He got sacked. He didn't get sacked. He got sacked.
He stepped down.
He got sacked. He stepped down. Thank you, Mike. He stepped
It's better
down
sacked.
because they said that he made a bad deal with the Catelare, and they didn't want to actually give him the time for the kid to just settle down and all
but
that stuff.
Antonio-
And Pioli is the second one to be blamed because Pioli did not plug him in and didn't give him the
I
opportunity.
don't agree with that.
I don't know.
I don't agree because when you get somebody for AC Milan or you get somebody for Inter or Juventus, you have to perform right away. There's no time for you to. That's the way it is. If you want to develop, you go to Atalanta.
No,
and
well,
then you give
we
got
give
more
Tonali
time.
1 year to get back in shape.
But I think that's a big case too. I think that factor. First of all, him coming from being the wonder boy, all this hype, first season in Serie A, and whatever you can say, he was a flop. He's still a young kid, first time coming to Serie A, which is obviously, arguably, the toughest league to score in. Coming into San Siro with all this pressure. Now, the second season, he has a little bit more pressure, more under the radar. We already know how good Gasperini is with these youngsters, knows where to plug them in. He makes them top players. It's the second season in Serie A, so he gets a little bit more comfortable with everything. That on top of he doesn't have that instant impact to perform. So I feel like that pressure off his shoulder made him grow a little bit because he didn't have to feel like, I got to score, I got to do this. And that's why I feel like a few factors why he's thriving over there.
I was just going to say, going off Gaetano's point, I think the fact that we don't know exactly what position he plays hurt his chances with the Milan team that is this year and last year as well, where Milan and Pioli's system is a very fixed system as far as where players are supposed to play and how the wingers are supposed to act, up and down, cutting in to shoot. Whereas in Gasperini, we see it in the past, he has this flexibility with his formations where the striker can come all the way down. There was Papu Gomez. I know it's a completely different player than the Catalare, but he had that freedom to roam, the freedom to go and collect the ball, to be in these different areas where, there's kind of like this, total football approach as well, where there's a constant rotation.
Similar
of the
to
players.
Inter's style of
Very
play.
similar to Inzaghi
Inter's
style.
Not as great talent wise. I think the biggest thing, I listened to a lot of CDK's interviews, and it's the way that he speaks about playing closer to goal. That's different than Milan. So it's a lot of what you guys touched on. It's the belief from Gasperini, and I think he's found the perfect place. I've seen Milan fans say, should they bring him back? I think if I'm CDK, there's no way I would go back to Milan
We can
to an
bring him
uncertain
back.
environment.
No, we can.
If the decision comes down to him, and Atalanta will want to activate it because 22 million is a pretty good deal for what he's performing right now. I think it's the perfect environment for him. And to add on top of that, Atalanta are doing unbelievable this year as a whole. They're one of those teams that I feel like we consistently overlook, yet they overperform their expectations, their budget, what they usually spend. They have their home form is amazing. 7 shutouts in 12 games. They've got the third most goals in the entire league. They absolutely killed Lazio this weekend. That was maybe the best performance I've seen from Atalanta all year long. They looked amazing, and they're pushing for 4th spot. They're in 4th right now, and I could see them actually getting into Champions League football, which at the beginning of the season I didn't expect. And now one more reminder, they're missing Lookman, who was their best player of last year. And Scamacca is still a guy that comes in off the bench.
Yeah.
They have some depth in key
And
positions.
Muriel.
You know what I find?
Muriel is going to Orlando
Yeah, he's
City.
gonna go to MLS.
Get out.
It's reported. But
yeah.
it's
At the end of the
Okay,
season.
but it's still
end of the
right
season.
now. He's there.
Yeah,
He's on the
yeah.
bench.
We
You
don't
know
know
what
if
I
he'll be there next week, but yeah.
You know what I find crazy?
Next week you said he's gone already? What are you talking about?
Yeah, no.
There's chance, there's a chance.
Isn't MLS starting now?
MLS starts
Yeah.
now. They right now Orlando has an issue with one of the strikers because the paperwork didn't go through for a sale. So I don't know exactly if
Can they
one
terminate
leads to
his,
another.
even though he's on contract with Atalanta and the Mercato's closed in Italy?
No, Italy doesn't matter. As long
Okay.
as the market is open in
For the
America,
buyers,
they
right?
can still sell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Last I saw
Well,
from Fabrizio Romano, he said they were in advance to do it.
We're talking about all this good stuff for Atalanta and stuff. The thing that I find crazy too, we talked about this in the past with Scamacca. Gasperini had some quotes on him saying that maybe he's not as much of a hard worker as he expected. He doesn't run as much. But for Atalanta, and they're thriving, whatever works for them, works for them. But they're playing, like Gaetano was saying before, they're playing 2 players that don't play in the Miranchuk up front with another player, CDK up front, instead of a real number 9, Scamacca, who comes off the bench. And in the beginning, Scamacca, we thought he was promising. He was starting the game, scoring some goals. But I feel like Gasperini really values that tracking back, that running. And Scamacca's seems like he's going to be coming off the bench rather than be a starter. And this is kind of... This affects a lot of things too for that Zuri, for that number 9, because we're saying when he came back from England, okay, he's getting some confidence in Atalanta, and it kind of flipped on him.
With
The
all due
second part of
respect
the
to him,
season.
like he doesn't even deserve to be talked about right now in consideration for
Not
the
very
striker.
much. He's not doing much.
doing. He's not performing in Italy. He lost his spot at Atalanta.
A team is doing well too.
To
You can't say-
non-strike-
and Atalanta is
but to-
doing great.
to
They're doing
non-number
great without him.
nines,
So
I find it so
for me, it's
crazy.
not even a conversation
You know,
at the
Marco,
moment.
Gasperini, to finish up the argument with this Atalanta, Gasperini's got some 3 or 4 multitasking players, okay? Coop Miner is one of them. Derun is one of them. Derun could become even a defender if he's
center
needed
back,
be.
yeah,
Ederson.
Center back. Oh,
Ederson moves all over the place,
So
too.
he's got 4 or 5 of those guys that they plug in
Interchangeable.
any things that Gasperini is asking them, they'll do it without even asking twice.
Let's
So-
go on next topic. There was a rumor. Obviously, we watched the Milan game together that ended in chaotic fashion. But there was a rumor about Leao that's going around. ESPN says PSG's plan to replace Kylian Mbappe with Milan's Leao. Mbappe's future has been decided. He's set to join Real Madrid. What do you think about that? You have a release clause of 175 million.
Listen, 175 million for
He'll sell him for 30
PSG.
million.
No. Let me. The question is directed to me.
Oh boy!
Hold on.
I don't know anybody directly.
I'm not high on
That's
Leao.
what you said yesterday when you were
I'm
watching
not
the
big on
game.
Leao. Give me 175 million. You can have it. I'm not big on
You're
Leao.
good with letting him go.
I will let him go.
If they offer
definitely.
100 million,
No, 175 million is
but if
fine.
they offer you
I'll have
100,
100.
150,
I don't know. What?
150.
Listen, 175 is
You're trying to negotiate.
I need
man.
to buy
Yesterday
something
was
else.
selling him for
Just
50
let
million.
him go. I'm
Is it
not
a
big.
Palino?
I'm not big on him. He's gonna just take the ball 2-3 times down the line and cross the ball. It's not what you've been asked to do.
What do the
You're
rest of you
supposed to
guys
be
think?
scoring a lot of goals.
no, ultimately, if they even come close to the release clause, that's a move that you have to
Excellent.
make.
What's the
for
lowest you
Milan.
take? What's the lowest is the bottom line?
Then we're not gonna take less than that.
Listen, lowest.
100 for 100.
No, definitely. You
Yeah,
definitely take.
I agree.
I think
I
even
agree,
for a
100.
$70 million transfer fee,
Ooh, 72?
you're selling him because you're easily going to be able to add 2 or 3 very
Top players.
Yeah.
They should be able to sell Leao for more than Tonali.
Okay, but I'm just saying,
Okay,
as far as
fair enough.
numbers, I think even for what Tonali's getting, you're going to
Yeah.
sell him.
Dad, what do you think?
That's true.
You think
Oh, it's I would for 175. I would have sold
Call
him
him right
for
now.
for much less than that.
I put him on my back
I mean,
and bring
I
him there.
saw him, and every time Leao touched the ball, which wasn't not that many times, you said get rid of him.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't want him.
So,
I mean,
are we
it's-
being prisoners of the moment right
No,
now?
it's body
guy-
language.
Are we too
No,
caught up
no.
in the exact moment right now where Leao's not doing well, where if he pulls out in Europa League and does amazing, we're going to be like, no, he's a superstar.
No, he could be a superstar.
He has the potential, but
could
he doesn't
be
show it.
A very, very good players. But the players that are superstars, the players that win championships, when the ball passes the midfield, they want the ball and they demand the ball and they get the ball. Leao, he's there. If he gets the ball, he'll get the ball. If he doesn't get the ball, it's okay. No, that's not somebody.
take you one-on-one.
That's not. I am watching highlights of all the Champions League finals. Barcelona against Real Madrid. Barcelona against Manchester United. Man, when you see those players, as soon as the ball passes the midfield, they demand the ball and they do something with the ball. And Leao, we're not talking about playing against Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United. You're talking about Serie A, and he just mentally is not ready. You cannot touch the ball in one half 2 times, go down and every time he touches the ball, he does something.
He loses
Great.
the ball. The thing that pisses me off the most, that when he loses the ball, he stops. He doesn't try to get back and to just fight again
Get
and all
rid
the
of
stuff.
I will for a 175. I get rid of him tomorrow
Gaetano,
morning.
I just want to say
You can
real
get-
quickly.
You can get 3 players for $50 million.
I agree.
That's 3 champions.
I agree with you on the price, but I want to bring up a player that's similar age, similar position, similar, you could say, downfall from the previous Scudetto winning season with the Kvara.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
I'm saying, what do you think? Do you say the same thing? Why isn't he performing as good as last season that went with the Scudetto?
Kvaratskhelia yesterday, he played
Yeah, okay,
amazing.
one game, but I'm saying throughout this
he
season,
played amazing.
underperforming, right, compared to last season. We
With
can all agree.
Kvaratskhelia, you have to. There were a lot of changes made at Napoli. Okay, the coach, with the president. There's always something going on in Naples. But Kvaratskhelia,
Is he better than Leao?
is he better than Leao?
Overall.
No, he doesn't have the talent of Leao, but he's very good.
doesn't have the talent of Leao?
I would keep. I would not get rid of Kvaratskhelia yet. I would, because
What do you see in him that you don't see in Leao?
here, this is what I see.
Mentality?
I see the that Kvaratskhelia is trying. He's trying.
Okay.
Sometimes I think sometimes you're unlucky. You hit the post, the ball could have gone in. You take the shot. He had a lot of chances and he couldn't score. But at least he's trying.
I can see that.
Yeah. Leao.
He put his head down, right?
Just by looking at him, his
body language?
Body language.
I think that if Leao turns up in the next couple of matches in a big moment, all of us will change our tune around Leao and say, wow, he's got the world-class talent, keep him, we want it. Okay, yes, there's 2 different arguments that are being had. I agree, if you get 175 million in this kind of market for what Milan could do with 175 million, with a new coach who's going to be coming in at the end of the year, they need to finance a mercato, all those things are factors. But I still love Leao, and I think Leao is a big player. He's got potential to be a superstar. He's not at that world-class level. He's not at the players that are in Champions League finals that are demanding the ball. He's not there, but he's not as far off as I think you guys are making it seem at right now.
But listen, let me just say something to you. Do you think that, let's say, Conte, it will be stay on the sideline watching Leao walking after you lose the ball or having that kind of a body or attitude.
Yeah.
No,
Conte will chew him
will-
alive.
Yeah, he wouldn't let him
Italiano
do
will
that.
chew him alive. Thiago Motta will chew him alive. A lot of those coaches that we are wishing that they will be taking over the Pioli's job, they will chew him alive.
So we're making the
So
same.
I
We're
fault
making the same.
Pioli too. I fault him. Why doesn't he say something to him? What is he? What is he? Your son? He's been paid a lot of money. He's
No,
been
but
given.
hold on.
It's a different approach.
Pioli has set him on the bench. He's
Said him what? One time that he took him out, he didn't sit him on the bench. First of all, he took him out and he put him on the bench while the game was still on for 15, 20 minutes and he got upset. But at the end of the day, he's a starter, this guy here. And he rarely comes out.
But he's the only guy that
He
can do
comes out
something
for
on your
5
team.
minutes or 10 minutes.
He's the only guy that can run
Can
by
do
a
what?
player.
But he doesn't do it. Now we're waiting. So Marco
No,
just said it right now.
he
that if
does-
he plays 2 games, if he plays 2
he
games,
does
he's
it.
supposed to do that all the time.
But he does it once or twice
That's it.
every half.
That's not good.
You got to do it every time.
Every
time you get
day.
the ball, you got to touch the ball a
He's
lot
not-
more times.
He's not at the world class level to do it every single
You know,
game.
and you got to
Anyway.
do it. But he can.
Okay, he has the ability.
He
I
has
agree
the
with that.
ability he can do it.
I agree with that. There are also a lot of problems also at Milan with who's going to be the coach,
Right. And
the
getting back to Antonio, he had Maldini,
Absolutely.
Ibrahimovic,
Yes, it is.
Pioli, they're all on his side. They're all trying to help him. So something,
He did great last year, though.
you know.
Last year, in their run to get to the Champions League semifinals,
did amazing.
in their push
Yeah,
to
he
win the
did
Scudetto, they were amazing when he had that
But what
support.
happened, you know.
Okay, there's a lot of things. You mentioned up Antonio Conte. There's reports in Italy, Repubblica says that he's the man that they want to lead the charge next year. Ibrahimovic is the one that's pushing it, and all of management agrees. You're not going to go first. Let's get Peter saying, sure. He's the man that built the foundation of your team. He did it with Juventus as well. And then Allegri and Inzaghi progressed from his team. But a lot of the spine comes from Conte's team. So he took you back. Do you think that he could do the same thing for Milan? And is he the guy?
Conte will be the guy to clean up shop and make sure the players that want to win, the players that want to be there, will stay. Everybody else will go. I think when you look at Conte, we know already what you're gonna get. You know, players have to want to work for him. He's gonna have a tactical discipline, and he's gonna play his 3-5-2. That's his style. So now, if you're Milan and you're taking this,
He's eyeing up
this
that wine. He's like, I don't want to miss this
this
opportunity.
decision to get Conte, that means players that are going to be playing with Milan have to play his style and can fit his tactical approach. For me, Leao, unless he's being moved into those top 2, does not fit in Conte's system.
But forget about it. We're saying if Leao, going according to the reports, if they would sell Leao, they have 150 million, 175 million, and then you get Conte in. So Leao's not part of that picture.
Yes, so Conte is the guy that is going to push to win the Scudetto. The only thing is he's there for a year, 2 years, and then he's going to fight with somebody.
Yeah, he's
So
going
do
to
you
fight
take
with
that?
the management, say, you didn't buy me the players, and then he's going to walk out of this contract and he's going to be making all of this money and doing nothing.
Okay, but then at that point, you make the decision on someone else. Or you go after a Thiago Motta, Italiano, whoever it is, but you're not going to win immediately
But also,
because they need to have that maturation year, similar to Inzaghi.
I think Thiago
You make
Motta
it
is
seem
ready.
like Conte. He stays 1-2 years. You've gotten better then. He leaves his teams most of the time. He leaves a team better than when he
does.
came.
I never said that he doesn't.
I know,
do
but
better.
we're
I'm
making
saying
it seem like he doesn't. He starts a fight. He gets this. But guess what? Juventus
He's gonna
never
make
would have built
demands.
up to that team that went to the final like that.
Yes.
Your Inter would not have been built up without Conte building the foundation.
Of course, but I think he also has certain demands, and this Milan team, based on what they've done in the transfer market, are not going to spend more than what
Yeah, but
they make.
if you get 175 for Leao, you got plenty of money.
Who's going to
Yes.
trigger this? We're talking
Listen.
about 170. Do you think anyone's really going to
If
trigger?
Mbappe goes
Okay,
and they're stuck,
150.
You guys
he's the
actually-
perfect
you see
guy.
it?
He's the perfect.
You
Yeah,
see
yeah.
people? I just don't
I'm
see
not sure
it.
if
I don't
PSG
see
are going to
someone's
invest that kind of money.
170.
You know
Wait,
what?
wait,
You know
wait,
what's
they're
making
getting
me?
400 million for Mbappe.
I know, but Gaetano, let me just say something. You know, Peter just brought it up. The transfer market is over. If AC Milan, because AC Milan had their eyes on a few defenders and an extra strikers, okay? Now, if AC Milan was serious about keeping Pioli, they would have just improved the team a little better. Maybe couple of maybe a defender, a midfielder, a striker. They didn't do it. Maybe because Pioli is done. Pioli's done. That's why they
Doesn't
don't want to
work
buy
that way.
anything. They don't want to
Yeah.
give the opportunity to
I
the
don't agree.
upcoming coach
I don't agree
or
with
the
you.
manager to make his request
no,
and
it's
just
not
go for it.
Okay.
Because you don't want to buy players right now while you are solidified on the third position with no threat coming from behind. What are you going to do? We're actually challenging the second spot to Juventus, because Juventus, I think they are in somehow. I don't feel like they're going to be able to stay up there.
So you're
Really?
speaking about coaches changing, differences. We saw De Rossi and Roma today.
Yeah.
Again, 3 wins out of 3, 8 goals scored, 2 conceded. They're playing against teams that it was laid up for him to be able to do this. But Mourinho did tie against Verona and Salernitana in the first match. He beat Cagliari 4-1. My question is, Pellegrini, 3 goals in 3 games, 1 assist. Before these last 3 games under De Rossi, he had 2 goals all season in Serie A. I'm talking number-wise, no assists. So now he's already gone above that in 3 matches. Was Mourinho and his tactics holding Pellegrini back, and is De Rossi getting the most out of these players?
Definitely,
Well,
100%.
I think there's I say yes, but there's also contingency. I think we all love De Rossi. I think most people love De Rossi. He just embodies that passion, that grinta that you love. But I feel like he definitely helps Pellegrini in the sense that De Rossi was captain, Pellegrini's the captain, and De Rossi doesn't play as conservative. They're teammates. He doesn't play as conservative as Mourinho does. So it's always going to give you some more freedom up front and be more attacking. But then again, usually the effect is when you sack a coach, you get a new coach, the team usually performs better. So that's what I think we're seeing now. And they're obviously fighting for De Rossi. It's not just a random coach they grab to save their season.
So
it's De Rossi,
it's also
right?
the communication from the team. And we
Yeah.
had a quote from Dybala after the match. He said, De Rossi has gotten something out of us that we didn't show all season. He's brought enthusiasm to this team.
Chemistry, too.
And De Rossi also complimented Dybala when they asked him, where does Dybala play? He said, I played with Totti for 20 years. In the last 20 meters of the pitch, nobody ever told Totti what to do. Guys with that sort of talent, we need to just let them be.
Let him play.
So that's sort of the idea around De Rossi. How do you feel about this? Because you've been very calm. You don't want to say too much.
I don't. I think that's just talk because De Rossi is there. I love De Rossi, but that's just talk. What do you think? Mourinho does not know the value of Dybala? You think that Mourinho would have said to Dybala, what is he going to say to Dybala? He can't say anything. The guy he's got so much talent.
Okay, but focus on the way, they're playing better football, it seems like, but they have played against lower level teams.
They're playing better football because he's a new coach. There's the players. It's in the nature. You change the coach. You want to show that you're doing much better, and you're trying harder maybe, and you're going 100 miles an hour. But as far as they play Salernitana, Cagliari, and Verona. I think Mourinho could have gotten 9 points.
He tied
for the first round.
Not Cagliari. He tied Verona and Salernitana in the first round.
Okay, but now it's now your the season is a little bit more. You have the different players.
You ain't giving him any credit,
Well, I do agree that the big
I get what you're
challenge
saying,
is
I get
what
what
do you
you're
do
saying.
in the big games, because that's where Mourinho's
Right.
team
But that's what we
always
gotta
screwed
see.
up.
That's what
And
we
they have
gotta
the big
see.
test, which is Inter coming up, and Inter is not the fair test. It's not if he
it's
loses
tough.
to Inter.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's losing to Inter, so we can't say that it's all down the
But it's
down the
performance.
drain.
It is the
but it's the
performance.
other teams that we have to see how do they get results against them.
And one more thing, in games with Salernitana, you could try, and be a little bit more forward
Aggressive.
and more and give more freedom. So that helped them too. But I want to see him, when he plays against Atalanta, how does he do when he plays
That's a good
against
test, yeah.
For sure.
Listen,
Those
I
games.
got to tell you something.
Which Mourinho always struggled with. To be fair,
yeah.
Roma's Mourinho struggled in those games.
Yeah.
Marco, I saw the game today. I see the fluidity of the game comparing with Mourinho. I mean, the game is fluid right now. Don't tell me that De Rossi all of a sudden, he injected this kind of a confidence on the player. The ball moves and moves nicely. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 passing. They're not guessing around. Don't tell me that they just learned to play soccer right now. With Mourinho, Roma had a bunch of players that were a bunch of stiffs that were afraid to make a mistake. They were tracking back or they were not doing the right thing at the right time. With De Rossi, it seems that everybody knows what they're supposed to do. Now, let me again say it again. Forget about it that they played those three teams. Those three teams that you've given hard time to some of the big guns in Serie A. So I don't think it's fair to be put it this way. Oh, it just plays Salernitana, Cagliari, and Verona. That's not the point.
Agreed, but it's too quick to make a judgment.
I know. But what I'm saying is, let's wait for the next couple games. 3 weeks ago, Roma was lurching almost as 8 or 9 place. Right now, they're challenging 4th place.
The thing is that my problem with that argument is everybody's so close, right? Like Fiorentina was 4th place. They were just 4th place, and now they're all the way in 8th, 9th place. You can't just bank on that. Everybody's tight at that point of the season.
You can see it. You have the perception. While you're watching the game,
one
you
or
can
two
see
games,
it.
you go back to
exactly.
9th place.
Look at Fiorentina. Fiorentina went from an unbelievable, oh my God, we could get Champions League football, to a month later, the fans are revolting. The fans are writing stuff about the ownership.
But to Anto's point, I agree with him in the point that you can see that they do play more attacking, more football. With Mourinho, they had less possession playing against the bottom half of the team.
But we need to see what they do in the big games.
No, I get that, but I'm saying just from the small sample size we saw, in terms of the football quality, I do feel like they did improve. They're not playing as defensive and as rigid.
What you got to say, P?
Personally...
About improvement of style of play, that's going to happen because Mourinho
it's
is
philosophy. It's
is
philosophy.
Allegri. Those are the type of teams that you're going to see on the field. That's going to have their approach to the game. They're going to have their style of play. De Rossi comes in, obviously, with these smaller teams, not to have any disrespect against them, but you're going to have the quality of players to have possession, to try something a little bit different, like Gaetano was alluding to. And be able to have a little confidence if you get the goal early, which happened today. You get a goal quick, all of a sudden things are a lot more easier to break down and more fluid. Cagliari has to open up and you find the space. Roma always had the players. We were not here lying about players.
Really?
I mean, come on.
Well, good enough to
when everybody's healthy.
Dybala, Lukaku. Okay, but everyone's healthy for sure. I think the biggest thing with De Rossi is that he's coming to a place where he was... king, prince to Totti.
But that's a lot of pressure too. That has pressure.
I'm not saying that he doesn't have pressure, but he already lived through the pressure because he was always in Totti's shadow, as a player. Until it was his time.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about
Capitano futuro,
Anto,
right?
come on.
Come capitano, ma non come leader della squadra.
I'm not saying about leadership. I'm talking about who's the symbol of Rome.
Oh,
Totti.
of course.
It's not De Rossi.
Of course.
So he always had to live in that shadow.
true.
And then when it was his time to take full reign, he obviously did what he had to do as a leader. So I think he was a given leader on the field.
sure.
He's going to be a given leader off the field. Giuseppe Rossi had him as a coach with Spal. Things didn't turn out the way they were supposed to. But in the locker room, he created an unbelievable bond, which left certain players to tears when he had to go.
Even in the Azzurri, though, too.
So-
The Azzurri camp, right?
Correct. So that goes to
That's a
show
big
you the
thing.
type of person that De Rossi is on the management side.
As a person, I even listened to his interview afterwards, and the journalist tried to bait him a little bit to say something bad about Mourinho. They brought up the numbers. Oh, look, you started winning games when Mourinho didn't. He stayed so humble. He's like, listen, don't compare me to Jose Mourinho. Mourinho won way more games at Roma than I did. Like, he just got that level of respect, which everybody, if you know De Rossi,
He's
you know
humble.
it.
He's humble.
It's a factor that's like refreshing to listen to from a coach. But
That's a pedigree of a champion. Because if you're a
And a
champion,
gentleman,
he is
and
a
a
gentleman
gentleman.
too.
For me, the biggest thing has been Pellegrini. That's been the biggest thing.
Yeah.
This kid was an amazing player before
2 seasons
Mourinho
ago.
and has struggled. Maybe it happens.
First
a
year he
coach
did
doesn't
good.
see a player or responsibilities do not match what he wants to do as far as the fluidity of a game or being able to be free to play a certain style. And with De Rossi, I think he's given him the full confidence to say, hey, you're from Rome, Pellegrini. You're Romano. This is your team.
Yeah, you're
you
the icon.
have to be the guy that leads this team. You know what it means to wear the Roma shirt.
But that's what Mourinho can't say because he experienced
Different
the same
experience.
thing. No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like you really hit home.
But it's also no disrespect to Mourinho.
No,
because
no,
Mourinho in
just
the
you
locker
can't
room
relate. It's
is the
different.
same type
Yeah.
of coach. I think
Yeah.
ultimately what happens is when you're there too long or for a certain amount of time,
Yeah.
it's hard to hear the same voice over and over again.
Yeah.
As a
My
player.
dad, my dad has stayed so quiet here. He's like, I'm gonna calculate all of you guys. I'm gonna remember everything that you said. And the first time that they lose a big game, he's gonna remember. I started off. You want to add something?
No, I remember what he said about Pellegrini, what Mourinho said about Pellegrini. He loved Pellegrini.
He said he wished he had 11 of them. At one point.
That's what he said.
Because his first year was amazing.
So
He was holding that in on you guys.
Yeah. Anyway.
But why?
Listen, let me just say, yo, Gaetano, I want to prove you. I want to prove you a point that is right in a way that is.
But he didn't give an opinion. He just said the fact of what Mourinho said is not right or wrong.
Let me say something. On the flip side of what we've been saying about De Rossi, you think that I'm very happy the way AC Milan is playing right now with Pioli winning dirty?
Nobody cares about Milan right
I
now.
do.
We're not talking about Milan. No. We talked about Milan. We're moving on to the next team.
All right, here you go.
This guy. How does he bring Milan back into this?
Let's talk about.
This is IFTV.
I have a question for you guys. I asked you at the beginning of the podcast who's the most improved player this year, and I had a name. One person got it. One person got it after a couple of tries. I have one more question. Who is the most underrated player? I have a name in mind. What do you guys say?
Which team?
This is like Family Feud. There's no right answers, only my answers.
Leao.
What do you understand what underrated means?
Underrated.
Doesn't get the recognition he deserves. Yeah.
Mkhitaryan for me.
Underrated.
This guy might be the most underrated player in the world
Oh my God.
The world.
right now.
Oh.
Wow.
Is he a big guy? What is
What color is his eyes? What color is his
position? What position does he play?
Is he a goalkeeper?
You could say whatever you think. Go. Just throw it out there.
Underrated.
Who you thinking? Who's your goalkeeper?
Underrated.
Danilo.
Oh, please.
Wrong.
You guys gonna throw out a name or should I just
Throw out a
Oh,
name.
okay.
I throw out two. Come on.
All right. The guy that I'm thinking of is Hakan Calhanoglu.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, now you say it, right?
That's what I was gonna
Why
say.
is underrated? That's
Because
not underrated.
nobody really talks about Hakan Calhanoglu
No,
in world
that's
football.
wrong.
Yeah, he's good.
That's not.
He was.
It's not underrated. It's not underrated.
I know he was. I know
good.
Pavard was given the man of the match in the game, and Pavard was fantastic. But I thought Hakan was even better.
No, he's very
The
good,
one
yeah.
ball that he gave to DiMarco is obviously the one that went around on social media, where Bremer did well to stop Turan from scoring. But it's the way that he's transformed from a player that I really didn't like. When he was at Milan, I didn't like him. I said, what the hell? What are you going to do with this player? He was playing in a different position as an attacking midfielder. I felt like he was never consistent enough. He moved into this role. He signed on a free transfer. And boy, you would find it's hard to find any player that's better than him as a deep lying midfielder.
The
right
Pirlo
now.
effect.
One thing I have to say, because I was going to say Calhanoglu, but then I thought a lot of the coaches, when you read, a lot of the coaches, they give him, maybe not the fans, maybe not, but the coaches, they see him, what he does for the team. And when you talk about the midfield, hey, what was the big thing yesterday? The midfield. And who's in the midfield?
Hakan.
It's Hakan, Mickey, and Barella. But, Hakan is a big part of it.
Yeah.
What you think, Pete? How happy are you to have him?
I mean, he's transformed since his days from Milan to Inter. It's only right. He's taken the leadership role of this Inter midfield. I think a lot of success comes from him. And I mean, even yesterday's game, when there was a time to push, he was the one to push the needle. When it was a time to control and settle in and just make sure to shuffle everybody and get everybody in the right position, he was the one to do it. I think we know what he can do with his shots. They're lethal. He's not close enough to score the 10 goals in the game, but he's perfect in penalty kick taking. So he's a guy that's decisive, knows when to make his mark. And ultimately, what has been a real positive point for Inter in this midfield is the fact that defensively, he's an animal. Like, he'll go into the challenge, he'll try to win the ball.
Yeah.
So this is a type of player that was a winger /10, didn't have a high work rate, to now being one of the best sixes, central midfielder for in world football.
And be correct if I'm wrong, real quick, but I think he only went there because Brozovic was out, or they tried, or
Brozovic got injured.
Or was it because of that, or they want to try something different?
No, Brozovic was injured,
right?
and they switched Calhanoglu into that midfield, which also ironically was a similar thing that happened to Brozovic, because Brozovic also was more of a 8
attacking, right?
Yeah, midfielder, and he got into
But same
that
thing with
regista
Pirlo
role.
too. When he was at Milan and he went to Juventus, right? They dropped him deeper.
No,
when he went
before.
from Inter to Milan.
Milan, yeah.
Inter to Milan. Inter to Milan.
Ancelotti put him in front of the defense.
There we go. Okay.
The thing that I kept thinking, because I watched that video of his pass like a million times, and then I was on TikTok and I was scrolling and I had these two American guys arguing, what's harder, football, American football, or soccer, or real football? And
It's the same motion for soccer.
did I? Whatever. And I think that, I really think, and I don't just say this just for like an American person that doesn't watch the sport, not that. In general, in sport-wise, I don't think we give enough credit to how difficult the sport of football is, like our sport. You got to think about a million different things at the same time. Also, that ball, he's running at full speed. He's got to hit it with the perfect amount of velocity. He's got to know that DiMarco's going to be running into the same position. You have to know the angle that you're going to hit it. You also, if you hit it over a little bit, the play is dead. If you hit it under a little bit, the defender's going to get the ball, the play is dead. There are all these different things. And then you got to use your feet, which naturally we use our hands a lot more. That's for a normal person. Using your feet is difficult just to be coordinated. I know this is a different type of rant, but for some reason when I was watching this, I said, we don't give enough credit to how difficult this sport really is.
Yeah, if you want to see like the dead plays, you usually watch like Milan's plays of how they turn out.
Thanks, Mike.
What do you guys think?
Friend you are.
No, it is
I
difficult.
mean,
Yeah.
He's technically one, the cleanest guy to ever hit the ball. I mean, even when he strikes a ball from distance, the swerve on the ball, the effect that he's able to give, and then his range of motion, I think that's what even gives him the quality over Brozovic. Because Brozovic, he can hit this, he could swing a ball, but he'll never be able to cut through and be able to hit that through ball and break the lines at that rate or that style. I mean, Calhanoglu has the opportunity, if he sees it, to put the man on goal.
That begs the question now. You're getting Zielinski at the end of the season.
Great business.
You got Mkhitaryan.
Great business.
Hold on.
He's gonna
Great
say
You got
business.
Mkhitaryan.
Where's Milan? They're
You
sleeping.
got because you're stealing.
Yeah, stealing. What's stealing?
Okay, you got Mkhitaryan. You got Barella.
Free.
You got
Free.
Frattesi.
Okay.
Okay, you pay for
Oh, we pay
Frattesi.
for that,
Okay,
yeah.
now you're gonna get Zielinski, and
Okay.
you have Calhanoglu.
Isn't that
so?
a good quality?
Something is gonna give. Who's gonna be sitting on the bench for the
There's
longest
going to be a
time?
rotation, sure.
Why don't you give us Frattesi? We'll take Frattesi.
But Frattesi is next in line.
Oh, next in line to what? To who? To come in for
Barella.
what? To Barella? I don't think so.
Possible.
I don't think so.
Anyway, let's talk about the game, shall we? The match, the Derby d'Italia. You want to start us off? What you think about the game?
So I saw an Inter team that is above the Juventus team in every aspect of the game. I think that the midfielder made a big difference in this game. I mean, the midfield is really, really good. And they have 5-6 chances to score. I saw Juventus, going back and trying to defend. And Inter really is the team for this year. I don't think anybody can catch him. The Campionato is not over yet, but it's going to be very difficult for anybody to catch this team. They playing with their eyes closed. They know where everybody is. Defensively, they're good. Midfield is good. Forwards, they're good.
Goalkeeper is good too. I saw a tweet somebody said that 775,000 spectator plus, summer. In other words,
Because he didn't have to do anything.
he didn't have to do anything. Nobody, actually
Materazzi
challenged
did that,
him.
by the way.
That's a lot thanks to the defense that he has in front of him, who is unbelievable. I mean, when you read 14 shutouts, obviously in 22 is amazing, but only 10 goals conceded. 10 goals conceded in 22 games, 51 goals scored. Go.
No, I was going to say, and the style of play that we we have.
Which is going forward, which is a lot of times you'll see Bastoni running down the left wing
And
spot
sending
and
crosses.
crossing the ball in.
Yeah.
But it's also, I saw the game plan was extremely obvious, and it's exactly what we expected, where Juventus were going to try to hit out on the counterattack, right? We knew what it was going to be. But even in those moments, you see every single Inter player running back and getting into position and sacrificing for themselves. So the way that they're built, it's everything that we already know, and it's the beauty. And we've truly watched Simone Inzaghi transform from his time at Lazio to Inter, but then also his last 2-3 years at Inter, we've seen a completely different style of coaching where it's been mature, it's been getting the job done, it's been winning in different ways. This one was more cortomuso. The only hole I could pick in Inter, which of course no team in the world is perfect, is you guys miss a lot of chances compared to as many as you create. And if Dusan Vlahovic scores that opportunity, which was really the only chance for Juventus all game. Gatti, but that's not a real chance.
That's half a chance.
That's outside
Half
the
a
box.
chance,
It's not something that they created. The one with Dusan Vlahovic was the big chance. It's what you wait all game for, because you're not going to be given a lot against the Inter side. And Juventus, on that moment, they're not able to play up to that par. If they score that goal and it's 1-1, you have a or 1-0 actually, it would have been.
It is tougher. And plus, I think, who Barella scuffed that chance like right in front, which was another huge opportunity. And Thuram, who got a great tackle from Bremer, I believe what it was.
But I think four goals right in front.
Well, Szczesny also made amazing saves.
Amazing, but it's
Inzaghi also said there was some great goalkeeping on that. I just want to say really quickly that I agree with whatever you guys said. Inter I think the biggest thing is, compared to the past seasons, whenever Inter are playing a big game, they were favorites to win, but this season, they're confident in them. They know that they're that team. They know you have that confidence behind them. They're not playing to their opponent. They let the other players. They don't have to change their tactics to their opponent. They play their same philosophy with every single team, and
really?
They know I feel like they know they're that good.
I feel like
they just seem so confident on the ball.
I feel like the thing about them that I've really loved is, if you look at the last 3 games, which were all 1-0 wins, they were kind of different.
Very different.
Like the one against Napoli, they knew Napoli sat back, they defended, and they had to break down a low block. Then the one against Fiorentina, they hit on the counterattack, which are devastating at doing that. And in this game, it was a mix of both, but it was more so trying to break down the low block. So they've shown that they can, no matter who they come up against, they have a game plan. Juventus's game plan and Allegri's game plan with this current team is one-fold. There's no plan B.
You can't
There's no
first.
second option. And I think that Juventus are way below the standards, like what you said, in every single mark. They're below, and you have to admit that Inter is way better. And this is a younger team. It's more of a year 0 for the team, for the squad. And I think Juventus did well, considering all things considered, with the game that they played.
In all fairness, the last 20 minutes, Juventus played very well.
The only thing is, I felt like they could have pushed.
But Inter had the chances to score.
I know, but Juventus, they took the game to them, and they challenged.
They had to.
Allegri could have pushed. I thought at 45th minute at halftime, I expected to myself, you have 45 minutes to play for the Scudetto. Yes, it's not decisive, but it pretty much is, because you're waiting and hoping for Inter to slip up. I thought for the last 45 minutes, he could have pushed on the let go of the handbrake a little bit and let the team go, and you play. You lose 2-3-0, okay, that's fine. But at least you go.
Gaetano and I, we were waiting for Chiesa to be plugged in around the 15 minutes of the second half, because this is your only chance, like you say. And Chiesa came in in this maybe
I think 66 minutes. I'll double check.
He played 25 minutes, no more than that.
That's the only argument I have. I was watching even Kostic, like a guy like Kostic is one of the most frustrating players for me personally to watch. He's so one-dimensional.
Yildiz didn't play well.
Yildiz didn't play well to start.
It's hard. It's hard to play against this Inter. It's so difficult.
This game was emblematic of the season. Inter are 10 times the better team of Juventus, but they only won 1-0. So Juventus is going to be there in the long run. Because ultimately what matters is that there's 15 more games to play, and Inter are going to be in Champions League, and Juventus have only Serie A to worry about. So Allegri could play all the mind tricks that he wants. Ultimately, it's 4 points. I don't consider the next game 7 points.
What about the game on end?
We have to versus Atalanta. Is that a sure 3 points for you?
It's a sure 3 points.
I don't think so.
It's in Milano, right?
I don't know exactly. But ultimately, even if it's in Milan or not, you cannot say it's a guaranteed 3 points versus Atalanta the way they're playing.
And this month, the Champions League.
Yeah,
but this was your tough schedule.
No, of course.
This was the start with Fiorentina, Roma, Juventus, and then Atletico, Salernitana. And also, you went through a moment where I remember there was times you didn't have 3 center backs. You had 3 different center backs. So you did go through a tough moment, and you came out unscathed.
For sure, but there's still 50 more games.
Yeah, there's still time.
And you still have to
Champions League too.
You have Champions League to focus on. So
Pitch trying not to laugh right now.
No, but the thing is, Inter's a better team. Does the better team always win the Scudetto? No. So it's gonna be going into the little details. And
what's Anto gonna say?
Allegri knows how to grind out results. Inzaghi has shown that he can grind out results. But there's still a long way to go say that Inter won or whatever. Because ultimately, you could be the best team. You only won 1-0 yesterday. and we dominated Juventus. We should have easily won 3-0.
It's going according to plan.
Yeah,
though.
to me-
Whatever it is, it's going
So-
according to plan for Inter right now.
Okay, but things change month to month, game to game. Things change.
I agree, but
You know-
so far they've passed every test with
Mike,
There's still,
flying
there's still
colours.
more
you
tests
know
to-
what
to-
pisses me off the most? That
He's downplaying
Is
everything,
that the
right?
conduttore over here keeps praising Inter? It's like, they've been winning with nobody. Their bench is loaded with
no one said that,
national team players. It's not that they're doing
And
something
what about Milan?
unusual.
Who does Milan
We don't
have?
have
Hold on,
anybody.
you have no national team
Give
players?
me a break. We
Leave
don't
it.
have anybody.
I had a stat that I was
guys
waiting
love
to
Come
bring
on,
You
up.
have
give me
nobody in
a
your team.
break. Give me a break.
I
You
have a-
guys have three
listen,
national
Anto,
teams
Anto,
sitting
Anto.
on the bench, and now
You know
all of
why?
this praising
You know-
Inter, this, did. It's at the least that you should be expecting a team like that to do.
Okay.
I
But you know
Okay.
why though? You know why? Because
Why?
Inter is smarter than all of those other teams.
What do you mean it's
Marotta,
smarter? Because they
baby.
buy
It's
people,
smarter.
they
No,
buy
no, 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 no.
players.
It's not about buying. Everybody
They
buys.
prepare.
You want to know how much?
They prepare.
You want to know how much Inter costs to build their squad? Fifth in the Serie A. Juve's team, Napoli, Milan, and Atalanta all spent more money
You hear
to
that?
buy those players than Inter did
hear
on theirs.
that?
Juventus spent
You hear that?
457 million on the team. Inter spent 225 million. So it's not about buying players. It's about
Who you
brain
buy,
power,
too,
IQ,
yeah.
being smart.
But then Marotta,
They built a team.
yeah.
How many of these guys? Okay, I have another list. They sold Lukaku, Dzeko, Skriniar, Onana, Brozovic, Gosens, Perisic, Hakimi. They brought in free transfers that people were like, what are you doing? Hakan Calhanoglu, inconsistent player at Milan. Darmian, Acerbi.
Mkhitaryan.
Even Summer, Mkhitaryan. All players that beforehand we said that they were not the greatest of players, but they put them in the system. You got to give credit, Anto. We can't take away that.
And also, Inzaghi's been there 3 years. Allegri's been in Juventus 3 years. Do you see the difference of how the Inter plays and the style of play, and what
different
they're able to
philosophies too, right?
do? Okay, different philosophies, yes, but the results also are what count.
But
Juventus have a lot less experienced players within this current squad.
But they-
It's a younger coach, also a younger players within the system.
Yes, but-
last year they went through a lot of
Allegri
problems
was
with
so
the-
stable.
let's go through-
Allegri
with the
came to
points.
stabilize, though, to be fair, too,
Except
right?
Yildiz, everybody else has played with Juventus for at least 2 years.
Yeah, there is. Listen, I'm
You
not
know?
disagreeing. I think that Juventus have misspent on a lot of guys, and they have a lot of players who are not performing to the level. Like even for me, Rabiot and Locatelli were awful in this match, and you look at guys that you got for free that have performed even better than that.
right now they're two different positions. Allegri came in to stable Juventus because they were coming through a bad time. Inzaghi came in to win. I think that's a huge thing. Juventus came from a losing streak after winning 9 in a row, and then now it's Inter's time to do that, and that's what Inzaghi's doing.
But
I
also,
think,
Juventus
right?
spent 150 million. Acerbi is the one that said it. You spend on Vlahovic.
Yeah.
You spend on this new kid now, Alcaraz, that's coming up. So you're not.
Alcaraz.
All right, but okay. Who's the other guys that they spent?
They spent $3
They're-
million on a loan.
Okay, and there's
they got
options to buy.
Chiesa, they got Bremer, and
so
Vlahovic.
you spend money.
No,
You
it's a
spend
lot.
those money to
And
be
also,
fourth place.
Wage wise, they spend a lot of money
So-
on wages
so
for their
they,
players.
They also were buying these
Locatelli
players
costs,
to win the
Locatelli
Scudetto.
costs
not
like
to-
35 million.
Yeah, but
40
fourth
million.
place.
And you're
Not to
playing
get
him as a
fourth place.
regista that he has no. He's lost all the qualities to go forward.
So this kid here, Alcaraz, is not related to the
No,
tennis
they're
player.
different nationality.
Hey,
He's
by the way,
Argentinian.
the last podcast we totally forgot about Sinner. Sinner is the
Real
Yannick.
deal.
Yannick is the
The
Fiore
Milanista.
Occhiello.
We need
It's from-
we need more guys like him.
It's
Italians like
from
him.
AC Milan, and he's got a red stereo exactly like
he-
mine.
He's got red hair. Do you have
Red
red
hair.
hair?
Well,
Can he
I
play?
had red hair before I decided to
decided.
go maintenance free.
Can he
So,
play for AC Milan?
I hope so.
You need
I
to help
hope
him.
so.
Why don't
He
you get
comes.
him?
He goes to Milanello.
Why don't you go Pioli and tell him?
Ay,
What do you
Pioli,
mean?
please.
Either way, to
Please.
tie a bow on this, I think that you said it well. Juventus need to do well at staying close, staying tight, staying focused, and hoping for a slip up.
Pounce on the
of
opportunity.
Inter. Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
be ready.
Yeah,
Stay
that's what they
close
gotta
until
do.
May.
Or hope
And
on
you
an
see,
injury.
and you see what
Anything can
happens.
happen.
You see what
Hope
happens
on
in
an
the end.
injury on Barella or Lautaro or whatever.
Why do you always say that?
That's his only hope to grasp. Instead of spending smart on
I don't mean injuries in a very bad things. In other words, they spend time with the family and watch the game from the TV. And, we
This is
try to
Antonio's
catch up.
opinion.
Not on the
Antonio's
field,
opinion.
right?
Not on the field.
Not
Not on the
I have
field.
one last question.
Like a little pull of muscle here.
I have one last
A little
question for
sniffles,
you.
Little
Yeah.
sniffles.
Huh?
Little sniffles.
Sniffles. What's a
like
sniffle, Mike?
a stuffy
Cold.
nose.
Oh, stuffy
Yeah.
nose. All
Yeah.
right, that's fine with me.
Who fell off more from last year, Lazio or Napoli?
No, Napoli. Come on.
I would say Lazio because they were second.
Lazio was in second place, but Napoli was in first place.
Yeah,
I would say
why?
Napoli.
So
Yeah, Napoli.
Napoli.
I don't know. I would say Lazio. The game has totally changed on one player. On Savic
Napoli has
leaving.
so many points.
Oh my
Napoli,
God.
Napoli back like 30 points from last season. They took a dive.
No, I think it's Napoli. Napoli, just the way that they approach every game is completely changed. So,
I like how Anto's this thing is always different from everyone else's. Always on everything.
I like that, Mike.
That's
Thank
good.
you. It's a compliment. I'll take
Yeah,
it.
that's good.
Either way, this is a segue
What's yours?
to talk.
What's yours?
No, it's for me. It's Napoli.
I like how he's trying to pick
I wanted to
Lazio.
agree with him just to go against it. And some of the replacements that they brought in to try to change things around to try to get fourth place in this transfer market. Their game they had a hectic game against Verona where they were down by 1 goal. You said it well that at least Kvara came back and he scored first goal since December 16th for him, but it's not been the same. It's not the Napoli that we got used to. They brought in Ngonge, who he didn't get the goal, but he was involved in basically getting the goal. He took the shot.
He scored.
got the
He
goal.
scored the
He
first
No,
one.
I think they took
called
it
it
away
auto
from
goal?
They called it own
Really?
goal.
For the
Serie A's-
equalizer?
Yes.
wow.
Ah, damn.
But it was very
But it was
very
just-
much
it was
his,
just, yeah.
his goal. I would
that was
say.
on
a shot on
target, though.
target
It's on a
instead of
target, no?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm giving it to him.
I
yeah.
saw on Serie A's website that they gave an own
Get
goal.
out of
I
here.
mean, these guys are tight with their goals.
Yeah, that was on target. He
I
was
think De
five,
Laurentiis
he was
didn't wanna
5
give a
yards away
bonus.
from a goal.
De Laurentiis didn't want to give the bonus.
That's
That's
funny.
right.
That's funny. That's funny.
I'll find it in
All right, find out.
afterwards. What do you guys think? Can they get fourth place still?
Napoli.
Were the signings that they brought in enough?
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
You know, the last match day is gonna be crazy. We're gonna buy another few TVs for the studio.
What are you saying, Gaetano?
You know what's tough? I think because they have the players. I think it's
The
tough.
mentality.
It's just the confidence is not
It's
there.
not there.
Yesterday, I mean, they had so many chances to score, and they made the goalkeeper look like, oh my God, it was Buffon.
Yeah,
That guy was saving everything.
Yeah, they gave an own goal.
Wow. That's a shame.
Davidovic.
That's a shame. Oh
I
man.
don't know. To me, is Mazzarri does not have it
Multiple,
to
right?
keep this team, to make him play and give him some confidence to go back and play the way they used to know how to play. You know, Mazzarri's there. Hey, we're losing, to Frosinone.
What am I having for dinner tonight, right?
Yeah.
No extra topping on the pizza for you. That's it. You go regular margarita. That's it.
Then he starts talking to himself,
Yeah.
That's the kind of guy that Mazzarri is. He's talking. I'm thinking, now the camera is going to show that he's talking to somebody. There's nobody there.
No, maybe he's talking. He's talking on the phone. He's got the ear
He's
plug.
a nice
whatever.
guy.
The Bluetooth.
I think he's a very nice guy, but
He's a nice guy.
he's not for this thing. He's not.
Anto's a nice
But
guy
he's going to
too.
be the coach until the end of the season.
Listen, this
At
was.
this
probably,
point,
yeah.
at this point,
I don't think they're gonna
I
sack
think for
him.
Mazzarri, he knew already. This was till
Yeah.
June, and it's just another way.
Just a caretaker.
If he does great, then somebody else would be interested in him because he's lost his stock a little bit. But Napoli, unfortunately,
Being generous.
Nah, but Napoli, unfortunately, I think fourth place is a really tall
That's all they
task.
can ask for.
The only thing that I think what would be necessary at all costs is Osimhen coming back and
Saving it.
all guns firing.
He's doing very good
He
with
scores,
Nigeria.
and then he gets
Listen,
sold.
Well, he
I'll
wants,
tell
to,
you what,
he
this
wants
is-
to play there. I don't know how much he wants to be in Naples
Right.
these days.
He decided
Well, the
at the end of the
fans- the
summer
fans-
that he's not
Listen,
going to
But
continue.
Miguel.
Zielinski also, right? They
Miguel.
took him
Yeah,
out the
well,
Champions League.
Zielinski's excluded. He got excluded from the Champions League list
Yeah.
because he's agreeing a deal. To be fair, we thought that this could have happened even before. I remember with Milik, he excluded him the
For the whole
entire
season,
year
yeah.
because he didn't renew. So that's De Laurentiis' method.
Yeah,
now,
he's-
is it going to be
he's shrewd,
a good
man.
one come the end of the season where you've got this? Zielinski is a top player. He's an
But let's
important
think
player
about
for
it.
the team.
Is ADL, I understand he's mad at him, but aren't you shooting yourself in the foot? Because he's going to benefit Napoli at the end of the day. So why are you doing it? I get it. You're bitter, but he can still help Napoli.
He says he doesn't want to continue with the player that we know is not going to be there next
He
year.
can make the difference between top four and not.
I would think so.
Whatever, personally.
I'm not disagreeing with that
But this
opinion.
is the extra excuse that
He's egotistical, though.
Mazzarri needs
That's
to
the
say,
thing
hey,
with ADL.
This is not a
comes here.
Mazzarri decision.
I know, no, but that's
it's
an extra
ideal.
excuse for Mazzarri to say, hey, worst comes to worst, Osimhen, he was on the Copa d'Africa, he came back, he was what he said already somewhere else, and Zielinski's been excluded by the list of the
You're
champions.
just saying another excuse to add to the list?
It's another,
But he's not going to continue anyway.
You're not going to be screaming, he's going to be talking to himself, and he'll be on the sideline, and that would be it.
Let's hit Lazio, since they were the other team. Can we agree at least that they're the second biggest team?
Yeah, they're not doing well.
They, especially in attack. My gosh, I was looking
Defense
at
too, though.
I was looking at their numbers.
They're one of the best.
No, they
last
had
season.
well, now they've conceded 23 goals. 23 goals after 22 rounds is not
What were they
a
last
goal.
season?
They were one of the top. But what they've really struggled with is goal scoring. They're tied in 11th for most goals with Lecce and Genoa. And when you share a stat with Lecce and Genoa, let me tell you, it's not going to be a good one.
Unless it's for the
They
fluid,
only
it's
have
not a good
25
one.
goals in the entire season. And when I was looking up their top goal scorers, I could not believe that. I thought it was a mistake. I was reading Immobile with 4 goals. Now he's got 5 because he scored. But that's their top goal scorer.
What a penalty
They have
that
no
was.
production from a lot of their big players. Felipe Anderson, Luis Alberto, Immobile, Zaccagni's been out.
Pedro, right?
It has been nightmare
Castellano,
situation.
right? He's starting over there and stuff.
But I wouldn't put him as like the reference point. Like I'm saying, like the big players
But he took
that should be
but
there.
he took his spot though, right?
But like the big guys, the guys that are supposed to turn up for them, that have in the past
guys,
season.
how much is Milinkovic-Savic moving to Saudi Arabia? How big was he now? Looking at it,
I don't think he's too happy in Saudi right now. He's trying to come back.
Not on Lazio. Maybe he's going to go somewhere else.
No, he's saying Lazio.
Yeah?
That's a rumor. But,
why wouldn't he? That benefits both at the end of the day, right?
but either way, whatever. Now we're just playing fantasy land. Who is down to blame on this one? Is it Lotito, the ownership, with the way that they've handled the transfer market, with the way that the club has been? Or does it come down to Maurizio Sarri? Because it felt like they turned the corner
After
for
the
a
derby,
little.
we're talking about how they turned over a new leaf. And then after a few games, just like this cruel sport of
It's gonna be us with
calcio,
Leao.
you win 2 games, you're the hero. You lose 2 games, they want you out. It's crazy.
What the hell happened to Ciro Ferrara? To Ciro
Immobile.
Immobile. The guy, he
not
was a
healthy.
leading scorer for a couple of years, and now he's not even starting.
Sarri wants
Injury problems.
that,
Lot of
and
injury
also
problems.
No, but he
they're
played,
changing the
and then
tactics.
I know,
played
but-
in the second half.
But he hasn't had the consistency that he used to have. He was a
because
player
he
that
doesn't
was
score.
always there.
Because he doesn't score.
He's dealt with injuries too. I'm not justifying
But
it,
but Sarri brought in how Tati Castellanos has a different dynamic than Immobile. He plays more with the midfield. Immobile
Well,
is more
that's
of
a perfect example. Sarri, I remember in the summer, didn't want Tati Castellanos. He wanted Sanabria from Torino.
Yeah.
And we already could smell that. You could see the writing on the wall. I remember this so perfectly. Lotito said, Sarri does not decide the players. Sarri tells me what position he wants, and I tell him what player he could get. Sarri gave him a list of guys. I want Sanabria, I want this, I want that. And then Lotito said, no. Lazio, we don't do that. You get this player.
Listen, I would not put the full blame on Lotito. I would not put the full blame on Lotito.
Now, if the president is going to tell you, if the coach wants a certain player, hey, you gotta get the.
So if the
players
coach tells him I want Mbappe, what are you
Okay,
supposed
you're
to
gonna
do?
listen.
We're talking
But
about
gotta be
Sanabria,
realistic.
Anto. Don't go to Mbappe.
Yeah,
but
come
there's
on.
definitely a balance because every coach wants a certain player.
Of course.
But then the club has to
Okay.
say, does this guy fit our
Fit the
long-term
agenda,
future?
But
All
you
these things.
sit down in your office and you discuss it about it, and then you go to the press conference. And you don't tell.
True.
In front of it.
That's his
true.
job. Yeah, you're telling me you're not going to be doing part of your job. You can't say that.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
True. What do you think, Pete?
No, but I think Lazio also last year, in a sense, overachieved because I think other teams were focused on other Champions League,
good perspective.
Milan, Inter,
And Europe.
everybody was kind of looking at in Europe, right? So I think they had the chance to just continue to climb up the ladder, and they happened to find themselves in second place. Sarri, for me, he disappointed. I think he's been disappointing because I thought, with time, these players
Are gonna
know
gel.
his system,
Yeah, I
know how
agree.
it plays, and even when you lose, you're gonna lose playing Sarri ball. But I've seen a completely different Sarri with this Lazio team. I think he's never really had the locker room or hold of this team. Could it be also Lotito and his approach to transfer market, or just how things are run in Lazio? But I feel if that was the case as well, I think Sarri also says, you know what, I'm packing my bags, I'm leaving.
At the end of the
He did
year.
it
Not
with
now.
Juventus, you know.
But if he doesn't do good here, where else could he buy? He's not going to go higher than Lazio
Okay,
now. His
listen,
stock's going down, right?
he won his
stock is
Scudetto.
going
He
down.
won
What
his
is that one on the
Scudetto.
But he doesn't care about
I don't
that.
think he really.
But Mike,
Could he go to a
he's not
better
a coach
team?
that
I don't
cares
think
about
he's-
that.
I don't
He
think
doesn't
it's
care
so.
about that at all.
Yeah.
He even said
He's happy to
he
play
did it
even
all.
Serie A.
He likes. I think he would actually prefer taking over let's say
Empoli,
Fiorentina
again.
for example,
But I
which
think
is
that was-
Fiorentina's a realistic option if Italiano would leave
Well, he
or
grew up there
Bologna,
too, right?
whoever's going to lose a player. I think Sarri's going to be even more
He'll
happy
do better
there
there.
because players are going to listen to him. He doesn't like the guys that number one. He doesn't like the pressure of having to win. He likes to develop youngsters. He likes time. He likes to build his style. He doesn't want the demands of having to win right now. And his biggest thing is his training sessions are notoriously for big players boring. Right? They're meticulous. They practice the same thing for hours, and that was one of the problems at Juventus. He won't have that at a smaller team. So I don't think he'll be mad at the level.
You know
I
what
get
I
what you're
think, Mike?
saying. Yeah, it might be early in his career, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
You know,
there's still a lot of time at the end of the
Early in
season.
his
He can
career, he's
still.
old.
Pete, the
What is, he's
Lazio.
not a player.
Pete,
He's old. Sarri's old.
Look at
He-
Ranieri.
Lazio
Look
downfall
at
for
Ranieri.
I think
me.
he's 65.
Lazio downfall
He's a
for me.
65,
coach, bro.
exactly.
He's
It
a coach. He'll be
started.
fine. How's
Listen,
Gasperini and
Lazio
Ranieri?
downfall. He started leaving from the organization. Tare,
From the top, yeah.
he was the real.
And why did he leave?
brain. I don't know.
There's a reason why.
You draw your own conclusion, but
Since
I
when do
want
you let
zero
somebody else draw a
conclusion.
conclusion and not you?
You had a lot of wine, Tony. You had a lot of wine.
Yo, guys, one last thing let's talk about before we end. Italy is coming
Woo-woo.
to the United States of America. We're playing 2 friendly matches. The first one on the 21st, March 21st, versus Venezuela in Miami.
Miami.
no,
And
Fort
then-
Lauderdale.
Yeah, it's Fort Lauderdale.
Hello?
Soon you
My
get- what are you
bad.
gonna say, New
All right,
York
yeah,
next?
let's go. Let's see what
You're
we
gonna
say
say
on
New
this
York
one.
next?
The second game is going to be March 24th versus Ecuador in New York.
Now, New Jersey.
Yeah, that's right. Pete. That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
you're one of those guys, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, so where's the World Cup final going to be taking place?
The medal. The
What's
What stay?
Red Bull
What
Stadium.
stay?
No, it's
Yeah,
not
no,
Giants
MetLife.
Stadium.
MetLife.
Not Giants,
No,
MetLife.
MetLife.
No, it's not MetLife.
What's that?
Yeah, it's MetLife.
Giant
No,
Stadium.
It's New York, New Jersey Stadium.
Stadium.
They changed the name.
New York,
Yeah, they
New Jersey.
did.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yeah, very
Yes.
happy.
Yeah,
Yes, they did.
What,
Very
did they pay
happy.
MetLife?
Oh wow. New York, New
No,
Jersey.
But now
So
the
the-
World Cup.
so the
I
top-
mean,
They can
I
have
saw
anything
that.
New Jersey.
They're not
You
gonna-
never
the
say
whole
New
world
Jersey.
So they're not
is gonna
confused.
Oh,
know.
I love that.
So they're
I
not
love that.
confused.
Since when they changed the name?
Thank you for the World Cup.
Since they
Tonight,
announced
Say
it.
something
tonight,
like that.
Yesterday.
No, before the podcast.
They didn't do it yet. Tonight, in 6 hours, you're
Before
gonna
the
change
podcast.
You drink a lot of wine.
At midnight.
Alto!
I'm done.
We're gonna bring your Uber back home.
Yo, a lot of people get mad. Like the people from New Jersey, they get mad that they write New York. But I mean, they should be lucky. People from New Jersey should be lucky.
Easy.
They got 2 teams from New York playing in New Jersey. They have no teams.
But you know, New Jersey would
Ooh,
never
you guys
get
are
it.
nasty.
If they weren't close to New
Yeah.
York,
Yeah,
New Jersey
no.
would never get
Never
it. So
get
they
it.
should thank New York.
Of course.
People are coming for New York.
They'd have the same chance of North Carolina.
Yeah, for real. You know what it's kind of like? I was thinking about this. It's like if you have a storage facility elsewhere. You know, we have small apartments. You don't have a lot of room for stuff.
Yeah.
Like we put it in New Jersey, but people are coming because of New York.
Of course.
At the end of the day. So,
For
and I
sure.
heard, I don't know if it's true or not. I saw a tweet from Christine Cupo. Shout out to her that New York and New Jersey actually split the costs for the World Cup. So that's why it's in New York, New Jersey.
Right. And when the people come to watch a World Cup, where do you think they're going to stay? They're going to stay in New York City and in Manhattan. That's where they're going to stay.
What do
Real
they have in
place.
New Jersey? The W's a little bit over there? On
W's.
Hoboken?
Hoboken and Jersey City.
Jersey
are-
City.
No, they got nice areas there.
But that's like not real Jersey.
But
you
people
know?
come
So Jersey.
for Manhattan. Yeah, people want to stay in Manhattan.
Let's just set that record straight for everybody that gets mad when
We should
write
set up
New
little
York.
cots in the studio.
Little tents.
Airbnb.
Little what?
That's right.
Anyway,
That's
What do you
right.
say?
Cots.
folks, we're looking
What
for
is that?
tickets for the World Cup final.
Oh, World Cup final? We're looking for tickets. We've already made a couple moves.
Yeah.
We're trying.
Guys,
We're
what do you
trying.
mean
We know us too.
Guys.
Us too.
Mike,
Yeah,
we're
we're-
gonna have to fix
we're
this
trying to
Start
now.
make
making
money.
phone calls.
Mike, we have to
And
make
guys, anyone that's organizing, hit us up. We want to be involved. Do whatever it takes to be there. Do stuff.
Steward. He could be a steward for the final.
The
final.
You can be a stew too, Pete.
I was gonna say that.
Stew gods.
You're Stu, you're Stom, right?
Yeah, I'm Stom. You could be like,
You stop me. Stop me. Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah,
I did
you're
that,
fine,
I did
man.
that purposely.
I think the wine needed this time.
Are we live? Oh my
We
god.
gotta press
I
record.
thought you're as ready as the wine.
We're gonna have to cut this.
nah, then we're gonna leave it in. But also
my
for,
God.
for Italy, what happened?
No, on the last thing, you
New
were gonna
Jersey.
do something for Italy.
Yeah, for Italy, we're waiting to find out about tickets. We're waiting to hear what's gonna happen. We're hearing murmurings, but we want to be involved. We want to try to promote because we want an Italy section in the stadium in Red Bull Arena. We're all gonna go, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to Miami.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about going. So we'll keep you guys updated on our social medias when we find out stuff
Yeah.
about tickets.
And according to Pete, you better get your tickets
That's
fast
right.
because the Ecuadorians say they sell out MetLife.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
I went to Greece, Ecuador friendly. I believe it was MetLife. Oh my! It was a sea of yellow and then the specks of blue everywhere.
You went over the blue? Yeah, the speck of blue?
No,
What do you
no,
think?
he was
I
yellow.
don't know. It was yellow?
It was all yellow.
That's a good
Coldplay.
song. We're gonna get
How many
copyrighted now.
how many Greeks were there?
A total of like 18.
No,
I'm
for
kidding.
real.
No. It was all Ecuadorian and just random blue
Okay,
patches.
so Italians, we have to be able to show up to this game.
There's a lot of Ecuadorians.
Otherwise,
in
they're
New York
never
/
gonna
New
come
Jersey.
back. Italy's never gonna come back.
Yeah,
We're gonna have a curva.
Yeah, we should have the curva.
Yeah.
We'll choose one section. So stay up to date. Antonio's losing his mind. The wine has gone to his head. Guys, as always, thank you for watching. We'll talk to you soon.
And
Ciao, guys.
Forza.
Forza Italia.